What was Liberation Day for US President Donald Trump ironically threatens to trigger an all-out trade war for the rest of the world. Announcing his reciprocal tariffs, an event he'd been building up to for the last 2 months, Trump imposed a minimum of 10% tariff on countries across the world. India faces 27% tariffs, while China has been slapped with 34%. But what exactly are tariffs and how do they work? Let me explain. A tariff is essentially a tax on imported goods. It's commonly known in India as import duty. It's a tax that a government puts on goods that come from another country. Tariffs are typically charged as a percentage of the price that a buyer pays a foreign seller. So if I were to give you an example, a 25% tariff on a $10 product would mean an additional $2.5 charge. Meanwhile, a reciprocal tariff, which is what is being talked about right now, is when one country sets its taxes on imported goods to match or respond to the tariffs that another country puts on their goods. Now, staying true to his campaign promise of an eye for an eye, tit for tat approach in global trade, the Trump administration has brought back the old principle of reciprocal tariff. Trump's stance is rooted in his long-standing belief that America is being unfairly treated in global trade. But why are tariffs charged? Well, by raising the price of imports, tariffs can protect homegrown manufacturers. Governments may impose tariffs for several reasons. First, to raise revenues. Second, to protect domestic homegrown industries. Third, to protect domestic consumers, you and me as well. And fourth, to protect national interests. Tariffs can hurt foreign countries by making their products pricier and harder to sell abroad. Foreign companies might have to cut prices, even sacrifice profits to offset the tariffs and try to maintain their market share, so they're still lucrative as an option. Tariffs can also be used to raise revenues for governments. This kind of tariff is called a revenue tariff. It's not designed to restrict imports. So if I were to give you an example of that, in 2018 and 2019, the Trump administration imposed tariffs on many items to rebalance the trade deficit. In the fiscal year 2018, custom duties received were $41.6 billion. And then in 2019, duties received was $71.9 billion. So let's talk about the history of tariffs. Before the federal income tax was established in 1913, tariffs were a major revenue driver for governments. Tariffs fell out of favor as global trade grew after the Second World War. Governments needed vastly bigger revenue streams to finance operations. So then, who pays the tariffs? Well, President Donald Trump insists tariffs are paid for by foreign countries, but it's in fact the importers, in this case the American companies, that pay tariffs, and the money goes to the US Treasury. Those companies in turn typically pass their higher costs onto their customers in the form of higher prices. That's why economists say consumers usually end up footing the bill for tariffs and getting penalized. So let's focus on India and US and trade relations between the two countries. From 2021 to 2024, the US was India's largest trading partner, accounting for about 18% of India's total goods exports, 6.22% of imports, and 10.73% of bilateral trade. While US is a significant trading partner for India, Trump has time and again referred to India as tariff king, as tariff abuser, indicating that America's friend, India, is no exception to the tariff rule.
India, which is the tariff king, they called us and they say, we want to start negotiations immediately. When Bob Lighthizer said, what happened? You would never do this. They said, no, we want to keep your president happy. They understand that we're wise to what's been happening. India charges tariffs of 100%. And then if we want to put a tariff of 25% on, people will call from Congress. But that's not free trade.
And that's why you're seeing reciprocal tariffs as well. Despite extensive trade between the two countries, the tariffs charged on imports by India and US are very different. India charges higher tariff rates on US imports and has one of the largest tariff gaps with the US versus other nations. As per a WTO report, in 2023, on an average basis, India levied a weighted average effective tariff of 12% on US exports, compared to a 2.2% tariff imposed by US on Indian goods. So you see the stark difference there. Now, with Trump going ahead and announcing a reciprocal tariff on India as well, we'll have to wait and watch to see what impact it has on us, on the Indian consumer.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe. If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.